What is your opinion on Syria and the Uyghurs? Well, with regard to Syria, let me say very clearly, with Syria, I'm much more informed with regard to Bilad al-Sham. I lived in the country. I know of the intelligence services. I know of the mukhabarat. I know of the behavior of the mukhabarat, who are harsh and despicable people that did carry out the dhulm, oppression on the people of Syria, which led to the disdain of the Syrian people having disdain for Bashar al-Assad. The Syrian people had a disdain for Bashar al-Assad and what was known as his mukhabarat. And this is not unique to Syria. It's common within the Middle East. But then this behavior of the mukhabarat led to the fuel that's when the so-called Arab Spring was sparked. There was already enough fuel. People hadn't forgotten 1982 Hama. They had not forgotten that in 1982, thousands of people were slaughtered by the father of Bashar al-Assad, al-Hafiz al-Assad. This is well known. It's all documented. Hundreds and thousands of people were in prisons. They were tortured. There were restrictions. There is no doubt on all of this. That is well known. So to contradict that is to contradict fact. But at the same time, to believe that the Syrian revolution benefited the people of Syria is also a wrong position. The revolution harmed the people of Syria even further. The Syrians were harmed even further through the acts of what became known as ISIS or Al-Qaeda, which initially was Jabhatun Nusra. Those people also harmed the Syrian people. And the NATO push for the Syrian revolution harmed the people of Syria also. So my stance is not with either side. It is not with Bashar al-Assad. Bashar al-Assad is a zalim, a person who committed acts of oppression. The Ba'athi regime, sectarian regime, caused harm to the people of Syria, but also the people who entered Syria, those who pushed for an armed revolution from Turkey, from the Arab Khalij states, as well as the United States of America. The CIA pushed $1 for every $15 of the budget of the CIA was in order to arm people in Syria. And those weapons came in the hands of Jabhatun Nusra. Jabhatun Nusra was a spin-off of ISIS. In fact, Awad Ibrahim, who became known as Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, was the one who sent al-Jawlani to Syria to form Jabhatun Nusra. Later they had their own disputes in 2013 and 2014, and then ISIS entered Syria. It was known as ISI before Islamic State in Iraq, but when he entered Syria, it became known as Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. These people harmed Syrians also. So I do not back the revolution and I do not back the regime. Both have committed harm to the Syrian people, to the Ahl Sunnah, the Sunni Muslims of Syria, but not only the Sunnis. Other groups were harmed. The Christians were harmed. The innocent people from all these various ethnicities in Syria were harmed. And that is what people need to understand. You cannot take a position with Russia alone, and you cannot take a position with the United States alone. You cannot take a position with Bashar al-Assad alone. You cannot take a position with the so-called revolutionaries alone. Anyone who does that, they are blinded to so many facts and considerations. We take the position of the oppressed, and the oppressed were on various fronts. So that is the very nuanced position on Syria which people need to understand.